Alright guys, HyDra here and I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. This weekend OpTic Texas play Miami Heretics again for what feels like the millionth time this season, and OpTic are absolutely ready to talk trash if they win this series again. Pred, we know this guy doesn't like Miami, but now Dashy and the rest of the OpTic crew are kind of diving in as well, talking about all the problems they have with Miami in their playstyle, the frustrations they had with the team all the way back in scrims and even at Toronto Major themselves when they went on to win, and discussing why Miami probably hate them back. Very much enjoying your thoughts on the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. So this is pretty interesting as well because, you know, the Timberwolves Mavs game is going on, and as Brian Saint says, a Minnesota team has done it before. Hoping these storms pass as well that have been going through many of the US states at the moment, just because you guys may remember, was it the start of like Cold War or like something like that anyway, when we had this massive super week in the CDL because there was storms in Texas, certainly at the start of the year. Now this is later in the year, so I know that people have been losing power and internet and all these things, and hopefully you guys, if you've been affected, it resolves itself soon, right? Because the infrastructure there in Texas is not really well designed for these type of events. And a couple of years ago, they had these major storms in the winter that basically just destroyed the power for all the pro players because they all live there, basically, right? So what ended up happening was they had to like postpone all the games, and they did this like massive super week where there were games every day to catch up for it. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. But you know, this is what Dashy talked about. Wanted to share some sad news as well, and if you guys have been familiar with certainly the UK COD scene, you'll know who Neil Guest is. So Neil was a really big feature of the CWL London event way back in 2019 and became a really beloved member of the UK Call of Duty community. He, you know, went on to start his own Twitch channel and start streaming and like kind of discovered the gaming space at obviously you know, an older age than many. And unfortunately we saw the news yesterday that Neil had really sadly passed away, and I'd seen over the last kind of months that he was unwell. Obviously, you know, many of us were hoping the best, and even if you guys aren't for the UK, you'll have probably seen Neil Guest and seen, you know, images like this from back in the day, right? Big Royal Ravens fan, of course, and they were in London. I know that he was pretty sad when they left London and went to Carolina, of course, last season. Real top guy and a beloved member of the scene, so really sad to see the news yesterday. You know, condolences, of course, to his family and his friends and everyone that knew him personally, because, you know, I got the pleasure to spend some time with him back at the London events that I went to before, of course, the pandemic happens. And I think it would be nice, like when we do go back to London again, which I'm sure we will at some point, hopefully, you know, they'll do some sort of something to commemorate Neil's kind of life and tenure, because, you know, he was just such a big part of those events over the last several years that unfortunately we haven't had in some time. So may he rest well, and just I think a really big loss to the community, unfortunately, that we saw yesterday. Black Ops 6 is coming soon. This is some of the teaser trailers that they've been dropping here. We've seen lots of stuff on this, of course, over the last couple of days. We weren't even sure it was going to be called Black Ops 6. Now that is confirmed. Speaking of Treyarch titles in general, this is what XDefiant will have to compete with, right? Because that game, some people say it's great, some people say it's terrible. The jury is still out on that. Time will tell whether it can survive, because certainly XDefiant, I think, has a place in the FPS landscape. Certainly it has a place when it's competing with Infinity Ward games, or maybe with Sledgehammer games. When it's competing with Treyarch titles, as we may have for the next 2 years in a row, maybe things get somewhat more challenging. These, by the way, are the number of championships won in Treyarch titles. So BO2, BO3, BO4, Cold War, etc. I don't know if this is counting, you know, Scump's win back in Black Ops 1, guessing it probably is. But yeah, Crim, Karma, Scump, Aches, pretty much you'll find it's the OpTic guys, and, you know, the comparison with those who were also playing in the Complexity Dynasty way back in Black Ops 2 as well. But even the likes of Simp and aBeZy, they're here at number 6, Arcetes as well, Formal at 6, you know, Simp and aBeZy, of course, Cold War, they did rather well, if you didn't notice, and at the end of Black Ops 4 as well. So, you know, depending if the next couple of games go well, we could see some switches up to the way this list is going to go. We've got to talk about how OpTic Texas responded to their major victory, because they've been doing a lot of content, the players have, the team has, you know, the comms video that blew up, the process episode that blew up. They've been capitalizing, and so have I, for good reason, on the success that they had back at Toronto. Will they be able to maintain this is another question. I think many OpTic fans obviously are absolutely hoping that OpTic can win the World Championship this year. If there's any time to do it, now is probably the time. It's held there in Dallas. It would be just such a perfect event, of course, for them to win. Major 4 is like whatever, right? Because they're making the World Championship anyway. It's a LAN event and it's important, but it's a bit of a cheese LAN because there's going to be no fans. It's going to be there in Burbank, and it's just not ideal. So the qualifiers now to the end of the season, the Major 4 itself is going to be like, look, whatever. These top teams really care about the World Championship, whether they win that or whether they don't. And, well, they're certainly in a good position to do so. And who knows, could they go back to back to back and win Major 3, Major 4 champs? Certainly possible. I think there was many people that thought FaZe would do that going into Major 3 because they looked so good online, and even up to the Sunday, really. FaZe didn't even look beatable at times before they got to the Sunday, but you know, that at this point is a rather consistent trend. So the OpTic guys are talking about Miami Heretics. They can't help themselves, can they? I mean, this clip, I've got to share a good, 2-3 minutes here, just because I went through the 4-5 minute section where they talked about Miami, and I was like, I can't cut any of this out. They just roasted them again. So I've got to share everything they had to say on the team. It all started, of course, mainly Pred, back at Major 1 qualifiers when Miami beat them, and, well, let's say Pred wasn't so happy about that. And, of course, mainly not so happy with Vikul throwing up the 3-0 sign. Pred then got his own back when they beat them on LAN, and ever since then, there has been this real rivalry between OpTic and Miami. The funny thing about the rivalry as well is the fact that it kind of continues on, even that it's mainly Pred versus Vikul, but even now Dashy's getting involved as well to some degree. But mainly, in the last few years, it's been OpTic versus Florida, right? Because famously, Florida would always be the team to beat. OpTic knocked them out of the tournament, even though Florida weren't very good. They would always have OpTic's number. Dave Paddy. Is Dave Paddy still undefeated against Scump on LAN? Something like that. Some crazy stat when he was on Florida, and they'd always tend to beat them for whatever reason. So, we could speculate at the time. Didn't matter what team they had. They'd always beat OpTic in 5 somehow, and it was a storyline. Now Florida are gone, but it's now Miami Heretics. So that storyline has kind of continued, and now it's the Spanish guys versus a very different OpTic team, but nonetheless, we still get this rivalry. And this time it's kind of, there's more vitriol maybe both ways than there was before. Started by Vikul, Pred then responds, and the OpTic guys go back and forth here basically saying, yeah, we don't like those guys, clowning on them for laughing after losing to FaZe, for example, but they won a map, so congratulations. And even Dashy chiming in and saying, yeah, I don't mess with them either.
Yeah. Shout out to Miami, man. I appreciate them talking shit Major 1 quals, because ever since then, holy fuck. Yeah, I don't know. They got fucking slammed.
What map is this? 6-star or HyDra? Oh,
yeah.
dude.
We got to play these guys. Come back.
I'm not going to say who it was, but apparently they were laughing after the losses.
Yeah, because they were content with just winning.
Apparently they were like,
they were.
I could. This is what I heard. Apparently they were actually laughing.
Dude, they got 3-1 by FaZe, and I saw Vikul. Vikul had the biggest smirk on his face.
Wait. I'm actually kind of curious. Wait, Riley, can you pull it up? I'm kind of curious. I want to see.
I'm telling you, Vikul was content with just the map.
You guys talking shit to us in scrims a week before the tournament? I swear they were talking shit to us. You guys always talk shit to us in game chat or some bullshit. And then
I'm
they
typing a game chat
ran.
bro.
Go to the top one, or which one is it? Oh. Bro, I feel like we've played Miami literally so
We're
many
playing
times.
it too much, dude.
Play them again.
I can't play this. I can't play this hide and seek shit, dude.
First match.
We're gonna play them again, and they're gonna play the exact same.
Why is that like a thing?
Wait, what map were they laughing at?
Look at this checkout gunfight.
What map were they laughing at? You mean after the high-rise?
No, yeah, the high-rise.
After the high-rise.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't even get to spawn in. We literally spawn trapping in like a pub.
Nah, damn.
Yo, ReeaL's tall as fuck. You guys peep that? ReeaL's tall. He's like 6'2".
I ain't gonna care. I don't even think I've seen ReeaL.
ReeaL was sounding me at fucking online scrims.
Yo, ReeaL, how tall are you, bro?
Yeah, ReeaL.
Wait, are they laughing?
Wait, no, I'm pretty sure it goes towards them. Why are they laughing?
Like, oh my god, we didn't win a fucking round. What?
They're laughing because they already booked.
I'm pretty sure it goes.
They already booked it.
They already booked festivals for the Toronto. We get to go after this shit.
Bro, what?
ReeaL's a comedian now.
Yeah, these guys are fucking.
I'm telling you, they got 3-1 by FaZe. Wait, can we just go to that? Can you go with FaZe Miami? I'm saying they got 3-1 by FaZe. And Vikul has the fattest smirk on his face. He was content with the one map they won. Yeah, he was like, finally, we got one. I'm telling you.
He was held up to one like he just won champs.
No, but I swear he had a smirk on his face. Like, he don't give a fuck that they got 3-1. He's just happy they got one. Yeah, like, go to the end of the series, like the last map.
They probably hate us.
Hate us? Like, I can't stand them.
Nah.
Hit the fucking hell. Look. When he goes back, I swear to God, he has Look at him. Taps him. Yeah, this is banger of a series, man. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's like, well, we got one, boy. Yup. You saw that one we won, though, right? You saw that shit, right? We got it. Those 6 stars are shit. Dude, I swear to God. It's my mic. 6 stars are shit, man. I swear, bro.
Against them. Oh, God,
guys are checkout mains.
So I thought it was interesting in some ways that Kenny kind of like stayed out of the discussion. He didn't really want to say too much, and maybe understandably, because they were talking about the fact that Vikul and those guys were laughing after losing, and like Kenny's obviously been clowned on a lot for that over the last few years. So Kenny decided to, keep it respectful, not say anything really on the matter, but Pred obviously went till the Miami as he always does. Dashy certainly went on Miami as they tend to always do, and of course Shotzzy was talking about them as well. So, I can't imagine that Miami are so happy with this. And to be honest, when they played at the major, I did wonder whether the storyline had been written to some degree. Like, it feels to me, right, just based on the way this is trending, that we might get OpTic versus Miami at Champs, right? Like, it just feels like that is the way that this will go. It's a big drama the whole season. Miami beat them the first time. Since then, OpTic have slammed them every single time. But who knows? What happens if they match up round 1 of the World Championship, which is certainly possible based on the way the seedings could go into that event. And maybe that's when Miami get their final revenge or something. But, OpTic will be determined never to lose to these guys ever again. And so far, they've done exactly that. So Miami 3-0'd them on the 19th of January. Then they played at the major on the 25th of January, and they got slammed 3-0. Pred threw up the 3-0 sign, of course. Since then, they didn't play in the Major 2 qualifiers. They did play at Major 2, though. They 3-0'd them again. Major 3 qualifiers, they played them. They 3-1 them online, and then they 3-1 them on LAN as well. So, that's what's happened so far. They've played Miami a lot this season, as you guys can tell, and they played them again this upcoming weekend. So, this is what happened back in January. If you guys don't remember, Vikul threw up the 3-0 sign online, and it was really that moment that, where everything kicked off. And Pred doesn't forget, right? That is one thing about this guy. He's never going to let this go. Like, there's no way that he's going to be like, okay, yeah, we won the rivalry, we settled the beef, we're going to move on. That doesn't work for Pred. Like, this is not going to go away anytime soon. So just to look at this weekend's schedule, by the way, they play twice this weekend, OpTic, as do many teams, because there's actually a lot of games this weekend. So, 4 games Saturday, 4 games Sunday. They play final match. I don't really understand why they play final match Sunday against Vegas. Like, who cares? Just put FaZe New York last. No, surely that's the way to do it. But, whatever. OpTic played Miami, 3rd game on the Saturday. So OpTic are going to play them in the qualifiers again. We shall see how it goes. And, of course, would you put it past them playing at the major again? Would you put it past them playing at the World Championship again? Not as far as I'm concerned. Speaking of Pred, I didn't show his career card the other day. This is how things look so far. 16 tournaments he's now played, which is kind of wild. I think that he's been around, quite a while, really, if you think about it. 5 of those tournaments he's made the finals, which is pretty impressive, you gotta say, given he was largely on the Seattle Surge. 2 of those tournaments he's now won. Best placing is 3rd at the World Championship, of course, on Surge. That's the same best placing as Dashy has on OpTic back in 2019, I'm guessing, on that OpTic gaming roster in Black Ops 4. And just one final thing to mention is, speaking of kind of UK Call of Duty and stuff like that earlier in the video, 7 years ago yesterday was the day when Spice won the Stage 1 playoffs in Infinite Warfare. They took down Luminosity Gaming, of course, 3-2 in the grand final, 6-5 on a crusher. Search and destroy. Jerd made the play with the FTL jump. Apparently Zero made the call to do exactly what they were going to do in that round. Bant had a great grand finals. Zero, of course, basically dominated the tournament on the main AR. And what a picture this is, with Laser Chickens on the left-hand side, Swizz on the right-hand side. Zero, of course, holding up the MVP trophy with Bant, Jerd, and Madcat. And I know there's been talk, because I saw Madcat tweeted Aches the other day and say, hey, Paddy P, like, when's ranked coming out for X Defiance? Zero's said that he's going pro in X Defiance. I know that he's been talking to Bants about it. So it'll be interesting to see, right? We've heard Priestahh over the last few days say that, yeah, he's going to go pro in X Defiance, or at least trying to make it work. So kind of fascinated to see the future of this one. Look, some like the game, some don't like the game, but whatever. Kind of looks like COD to me. So I think it can be entertaining to watch and play from a competitive perspective. And very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.